Hey everyone, I hope you've had a great day so far and that you're doing well. For this video we'll be continuing through our retrospective series of Imperium with issue number 52, and Imperium is for the Warhammer 40,000 setting, and this particular issue of Imperium would have been released sometime in 2023 for Australia. There's the key point. Because I'm pretty sure the UK and the US had this probably around the onset of 10th edition, which would have been a few years prior to that. Anyway, jumping straight into things. So here we have issue number 52. We've already had a bit of a teaser for this from previous Imperium issues. So we will have part 1 of 2 for a particular miniature, the Necron Triarch. So that's obviously the completed and painted model. It does look very cool and imposing. Otherwise, there'll be some information regarding the Imperial Knights, information of course about the Triarch, and using stratagems in games. Contents page. So obviously the first part will be for the Triarch Stalker, followed by the lore component. Unsurprisingly, there will be something regarding the Triarch, and then from a faction perspective, Questors Imperialis, which I believe will be for the Knights. Building the Triarch Stalker, which probably means issue 53 will be painting the Stalker. And then from a play side of things, stratagems, tutorial about stratagems, and a Destroyer Assault mission. So, Triarch Stalker, Lethal Battle Walker. So going through the various war gear options and armory of the Stalker itself does look very cool. I'm not too familiar with the actual unit itself, so I don't know what its actual play is like within a game, but it looks kind of cool. Typical battle record, just to record some thematic attributes for the units. Questors Imperialis, just some faction lore regarding the Imperial Knights, which probably means there'll be some Chaos Knight stuff coming in a few issues' time, potentially. And going through some of the actual weaponry for war gear options. So, Gatling cannons, muscle pods, battle cannon, rocket pods, thermal cannon, auto cannons, Thunderstrike gauntlets, and Reaper chainswords. So basically everything that you can imagine on a typical Imperial vehicle, amp it up by 10, stick it on a bipedal walker. Going through some, I dare say probably some story information for the Triarch. I do see references to the Silent King here and there, so nice to see. So we've got the Triarch, Praetorians, and the Stalkers. So the Stalkers is obviously the model that's included with this issue and the next issue, and the Praetorians I cannot comment as to whether there will be some or not, time will tell. Building wise, the Triarch Stalker, the build steps will recommend sub-assembly, which makes sense, and the way that they've recommended it once again seems to make logical sense. We do have some contact points, which I suspect are probably where the components of the sub-assemblies will be glued together. Otherwise, going through the first sub-assembly build, which is pretty straightforward. Depending what your paint scheme is, you could have some challenges painting that, because you obviously have this particular Necron within a cockpit area. Sub-assembly 2, which appears to be the lower body and the legs. Does remind me of that particular unit, which does not come to my head right now, the nice tall lanky one. So we're still going through that second sub-assembly, which is a decent number of steps. And then the last sub-assembly, I think, is the underslung weapons, which seems to be, what do we have here? Heat Ray twin heavy gauze cannon. Now obviously, to have some level of flexibility, magnets may become your friend. and then there you go. So the completion of subassembly, and then putting the whole unit together. And then, as I said earlier, no doubt the next issue will go through how to paint it. Stratagems, basically what they are, how they're used. There'll be a tutorial there, so there's some examples of some stratagems: counteroffensive, fire, overwatch, command reroll. Stratagems, basically a tutorial, so how to gain your command points, tracking them, and basically how to use them. Lastly, the actual destroyer assault mission with the Necrons and the Imperium. So in terms of the Imperium, we're still using models from the Adepta Sororitas. So the actual mission here, scout mission, stronghold assault. So the actual mission, rules and briefing, the two forces, how to create the battlefield is indicated by here, objectives and things like that. And actually, just having a very quick look, the Imperium is, yes, very much Adepta Sororitas, although 3 aggressors. I feel they're Marines. Anyway, very last page is actually not the splash page of Combat Patrol. Not Combat Patrol, Imperium, sorry. Getting confused between the two. It's actually a little splash page for command point tokens. I would not go as far as doing that, and if I did, I'd potentially photocopy this page and do that. I do like the artwork here that we have of the Crimson Fists. And then on the very back of the issue, we have the coming soon. So issue 53, we do know, will be the part 2 of 2 of the Triarch Stalker. And issue 54 will have even more Sororitas. So it looks like we'll have 2 more Seraphim, 3 Battle Sisters, another Repentia, and another Archon. Which makes a bit of sense, because the way that those particular models have been provided have all been like on a single combined frame, but it's interesting, which makes sense as to a particular combat patrol that was available for a particular point in time. So that was issue 52. As for what else was included, obviously it is 1 sprue for the Triarch Stalker. So that's probably the nice working end. The other end, which is a lot more boring, because that's where everything is coming, being glued together. Do have a little bit of detailing here on some of the leg components, but otherwise it's definitely not too bad. It's a lot of flat areas, so painting this won't be too difficult. But yeah, you do get some smaller detailing here with the pilot, so you can see part of the pilot's hand there, probably part of its spine vertebrae piece and things like that. Now, how much this particular sprue will allow you to build is beyond me, but because this is a retrospective, I do know I've got issue 53, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so that will bring us to the end of the page through of Imperium issue 52. Nice to be in the 50s. Hard to imagine that I've now done this 52 times already, and I think there's still about, what, 38 more issues to go. At some point in time, I do need to actually go back and like sort everything out, because it would be actually nice to start getting these things off sprues and doing something with them. Anyway, that's a future me problem, not a current me problem. Thank you very much for watching this retrospective page through. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. It does help support the channel, and I do appreciate it. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram as well as the YouTube community tab, which at this point in time is very 40k centric, and I'm hoping to maintain that for a little bit longer, just because there's some things happening in the upcoming weeks that do need a bit of Warhammer attention. With that being said, stay safe and take care, and I'll catch you all in a future video, whether it's 53, well, issue 53 of Imperium, to see the part 2, or something else on the channel. See ya.